Imagine being handcuffed outside your own home, accused of trespassing, just because of the color of your skin. But what the cops didn't know was that the man they humiliated was none other than the director of the FBI himself. This story is going to shock you, break your heart, and leave you speechless with its twists. Stay with us till the end, and don't forget to subscribe to this channel for more powerful, true-to-life thrillers that will open your eyes. It was late evening in Washington, D.C. when Marcus Hale pulled his black SUV into the driveway of his newly purchased home. The neighborhood was quiet, almost too quiet, and Marcus, tall, broad-shouldered, with the dignified air of someone who carried secrets bigger than himself, was glad to finally be back from another exhausting day at work. Few people knew where he lived, and that's exactly how he wanted it. His job demanded secrecy, caution, and an ever-present awareness of danger. As he stepped out of the car, his neighbor's curtains twitched. A black man in a tailored suit walking into a luxury home seemed to them suspicious. Marcus could feel the stares, but he ignored them. He had faced worse, much worse. Moments later, headlights flashed behind him. A patrol car pulled up abruptly, cutting across his driveway. Two officers jumped out, hands already on their weapons. "Sir, step away from the property," one shouted, his voice sharp with suspicion. "Excuse me?" Marcus replied, calm but firm. "We got a call about a possible trespasser. Put your hands where we can see them." Marcus froze for a second, not out of fear but disbelief. This was his home, his deed, his sanctuary. "Officers, there must be a mistake," he said, raising his hands slowly. "This is my house." "Don't lie to us," barked the other cop. "We already spoke to the neighbor. They said you don't belong here." Marcus let out a slow breath, measuring his words. Years of FBI training taught him never to escalate a tense situation. But inside, he felt a storm brewing. Not because he was being mistaken, but because he knew exactly what this was. Racial profiling. Again. The cops advanced, flashlights blinding him. One grabbed his arm roughly, twisting it behind his back. "You have no right to touch me," Marcus protested. "Oh, we have every right," sneered the officer. "You're under investigation for trespassing." Within seconds, Marcus Hale, one of the most powerful men in the country, was slammed against his own car, his wrists bound in cold steel cuffs. But the officers didn't know. They had no idea who they had just humiliated. At the precinct, Marcus sat silently in the holding area. He had chosen not to reveal his true identity, yet. He wanted to see how far this injustice would go. Across the room, the officers laughed, high-fiving each other, proud of their catch. One of them muttered, "Bet the guy was trying to rob the place. Doesn't look like he belongs in a house like that." Marcus's jaw tightened. Memories of his childhood came flooding back. The poverty, the mockery, the times when society told him he'd never make it. But he did. He rose above. And now, even as the director of the FBI, he realized nothing had truly changed. Not in their eyes. Not in the system. The sergeant on duty walked in, flipping through Marcus's wallet. He looked confused. "Officers," he said slowly, "did either of you bother checking this man's ID before arresting him?" "We were following protocol," one of them snapped defensively. "Protocol?" The sergeant's voice hardened. "Do you know who this is?" The room fell silent. The sergeant turned the ID around. "Director Marcus Hale, Federal Bureau of Investigation." The color drained from their faces. Marcus finally stood, his presence commanding the room. "You've made a mistake," he said, his voice low, steady, dangerous. "But this isn't just about me. It's about every man who looks like me and is treated like a criminal in his own home." The cops stammered apologies, but Marcus didn't respond. He simply walked out, his cuffs removed, his dignity bruised but not broken. That night, as he sat alone in his home, he thought about exposing them publicly. But another idea stirred within him. Something bigger. Something that could change everything. And so Marcus Hale began to plan. Because this wasn't the end of the story. It was only the beginning. The next morning, news channels buzzed with whispers of an internal FBI investigation. Marcus hadn't spoken to the press, but someone had leaked the story. 2 local officers had unknowingly arrested the director of the FBI on suspicion of trespassing. The irony was too heavy for the media to ignore. Headlines blazed across the nation. Cops handcuff FBI director outside his own home. Racial profiling in the highest office. The world was watching. Inside the FBI headquarters, Marcus stood before his staff. He didn't hide the truth, he exposed it. "I want every detail of this incident recorded," he ordered. "Not because I seek revenge, but because this is the reality millions of Americans face daily. I will not let this be buried." His voice shook with conviction. For the first time, the director of the FBI wasn't just a leader. He was a victim too. But not everyone was happy. Powerful figures in politics pushed him to stay silent, fearing the scandal would tarnish law enforcement's image. Some even hinted at removing him from his post. Marcus knew the risk, but he also knew something greater was at stake: justice. The officers who arrested him were summoned to the FBI headquarters. They looked pale, terrified. Marcus entered the interrogation room not as their victim, but as their judge. "Do you know what you did?" Marcus asked, his tone controlled but heavy with authority. We were just doing our job," one stammered. "Your job?" Marcus leaned forward. "Or your prejudice?" The men lowered their heads. "You didn't see a homeowner that night. You saw a black man, and you assumed guilt." Tears welled up in one officer's eyes. Perhaps for the first time he understood the weight of his actions. Marcus didn't fire them. Instead, he gave them something more powerful. A chance for redemption. "You will join a nationwide program I am launching," Marcus declared. "Mandatory racial bias training. Real reform. Not just words on paper. You will face the communities you've wronged, and you will learn." The officers nodded silently, shame written across their faces. Weeks passed. The story became a movement. Citizens protested, demanding accountability. Social media erupted with support for Marcus, calling him the director with courage. But in the shadows, enemies stirred. Anonymous threats arrived at Marcus's home. His family was watched. The system didn't like being challenged. The deeper he dug, the more corruption he uncovered, not just in police forces, but within his own bureau. The real twist came one late night when Marcus received a file on his desk. It contained secret communications, emails between high-ranking officials. They revealed something chilling. The arrest wasn't random. It had been orchestrated. Someone wanted him humiliated. Someone inside the system wanted him out. Marcus's heart pounded as he read the last line of the leaked document. "Neutralize Director Hale before he becomes a threat." The betrayal cut deeper than any racial slur, any handcuff, any humiliation. This wasn't just prejudice. It was conspiracy. Marcus realized he wasn't just fighting for justice. He was fighting for survival. And as he stared out his office window into the dark city, he whispered to himself, "They tried to bury me with chains, but they don't know I'm the one holding the keys." The battle had only just begun.